Hi, welcome back to Crochet Home. I'm Amanda and I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous snowflake. Today I'm going to be using Diamonds double knit. It's a really nice yarn because it has this lovely sparkle in it. I don't know if it's picking it up on the camera. Let me try this one. It's white with a really subtle sparkle, so it's beautiful for making snowflakes. So that's the yarn I'm going to be using, along with a 4mm hook today, and we're also going to need our scissors and a tapestry needle. Okay, you won't need your stitch marker today for this one. So let's begin the project by making our magic ring, and we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will also count as one of your double crochets later on in the round. So we've done 5 chain. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet. This is in US terminology. So yarn over, hook through your magic circle, pull the yarn through, yarn over your hook, yarn through the first 2 loops, so you have 2 loops remaining on your hook, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Then we're going to chain 2, and now we're going to do another double crochet into our magic ring. Chain 2, double crochet into the magic ring. Repeat that, chain 2, double crochet into the circle, chain 2, double crochet into the circle. And what we're looking for is we're looking to get 6 double crochets. So that counts as our first double crochet where we did the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's perfect. That's our 6 double crochets into our magic ring. So just to finish off this round, we're chain 2, and we're going to slip stitch into this space, into our chain 5 space. Not into a stitch into the chain, but just into the space. And just slightly pull your tail yarn, and that will just close that circle in the middle for you, and we can finish that off properly later on when with our tapestry needle. Okay, so for the next round we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to place 3 double crochet into this chain 2 space, into this space here. So this chain will count as one of our double crochets, but we need to do another further 3 double crochets into our chain 2 space here. So 1, 2, and 3. So in effect now with that chain we have 4 double crochets in this space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 2, and we're going to repeat that, but we're going to do 4 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. So yarn over, hook through the space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our first double crochet. Now we need to do another 3 double crochet into that same chain 2 space. 2, 3, 4. So we now have 4 double crochets in this chain 2 space, a chain 2, and 4 double crochets in the next chain 2 space. So we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So we're going to chain 2, and we're going to place another 4 double crochet into the next chain, chain 2, 4 double crochet into the next chain space, chain 2, 4 double crochet into the next chain space, and so on until we reach the end, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I've just coming up to the last chain 2 space of this round. I've just done my chain 2 and I'm now going to place my 4 double crochet into my last chain 2 space. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and to finish off we chain 2 and we slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 space we made at the beginning of the round. So just slip stitch to join, and that finishes that round. And to begin the next round we need to make our way across to this first chain 2 space, so we're going to slip stitch in each stitch along. So just make your way along, just slip stitch along those stitches. When you reach the chain 2 space we're going to slip stitch in the space, so just pop a slip stitch into the space, and now we're going to chain 3 and slip stitch back into that chain 2 space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch back into the chain 2 space, chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and again slip stitch into the same chain 2 space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch back into that same chain 2 space, and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and again slip stitch back into that same chain 2 space. Now we need to make our way along to the next chain 2 space here. So again we need to slip stitch across these stitches and make a slip stitch into the next chain 2 space. So let's slip stitch across and slip stitch into that space and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into the space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch into the same chain 2 space, chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and slip stitch back into that chain 2 space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch into the space, and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and again slip stitch into the same chain 2 space. Okay, so you can see the pattern that's emerging. So in each of our chain 2 spaces we will work a chain 3, slip stitch back into the chain 2 space, a chain 5, slip stitch back into the chain 2 space, a chain 7, slip stitch back into chain 2 space, chain 5, slip stitch back into the same space, and chain 3, slip stitch back into the same space. Then we slip stitch across to our next chain 2 space. We must remember to slip stitch into the space before we start our chain 3 again, our chain 5, chain 7, chain 5, chain 3. And we're going to repeat that all the way around, and I shall meet you at the end of this round. So I'm just coming up to the last chain 2 space of this round. I've slip stitched across the top. I'm just going to do my last slip stitch into the chain 2 space and chain 3, slip stitch in, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch into the chain 2 space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, chain 7, slip stitch into the space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch into the same space, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into the chain 2 space. And that should give you 6 points now to your snowflake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So all that's left to do now is to cut a tail off. Oops, so we can sew this in. Okay, so just fasten your yarn off, slight tug, and then all that's left to do is to sew in our ends. So using your tapestry needle, so it's got a nice wide eye, just fasten our magic circle. There we go. Just snip that one off. And the last one, just weave this through a couple of times so it doesn't come undone. Nice finish. Okay, that's nice and secure. I'll just trim that excess yarn there. Turn our snowflake over, and there we have a beautiful shimmering snowflake. So that you could use this as an appliqué onto a blanket, or you could place some twine in one of the chain 7 and make a lovely snowflake hanging decoration. And that's how you make your sparkly snowflake.